Let's delve into the multitude of global events that have unfolded recently, many of which are reshaping our understanding of modern conflict and defense technologies. These are extraordinary times, and our channel is dedicated to breaking down the complexities. So let us embark on this journey together. An industrial complex within the Sarata region suffered significant damage during a nocturnal drone assault. Drones are increasingly recognized as the most groundbreaking weapons in contemporary warfare, with many attributing Ukraine's ongoing resistance against Russia to their effective utilization of these aerial devices, particularly when considering Russia's considerably larger military apparatus. At the initial stages of the war, Ukraine largely adopted a defensive stance against the invading Russian forces, employing conventional weapon systems including tanks, artillery, and rocket launchers, and the combat activity primarily focused on the Russian-occupied territories. However, as the conflict evolved, the Kiev administration recognized that disrupting the Russian logistical network, crippling Moscow's ability to produce ammunition, limiting fuel supplies, and damaging aircraft maintenance facilities would play a significant role in the war's trajectory. In addition to the limited stock of long-range weaponry obtained from international partners, Ukraine initiated a substantial expansion of its domestic drone manufacturing capabilities. Consequently, Ukrainian-produced drones are now orchestrating relentless attacks on vital locations deep within Russian territory. As these defense industry hubs erupt in flames, a sense of panic has begun to grip Russia as to how this can be contained. Ukraine's long-range attack drones, also known as UAVs, are not only utilized along the front lines, but are actively penetrating deep into Russia, targeting manufacturing plants, military establishments, and even supposedly secure closed cities, thus plunging segments of the Russian industry into turmoil. The recent series of explosions in Smolensk, Kazan, and Tatarstan vividly demonstrates the Kremlin's unpreparedness to address this novel threat. So, what exactly are these groundbreaking Ukrainian drones? What strategic approach do they employ to strike Russian industry? How do they manage to carry out these attacks that reach so far within Russian territory? And what overall impact will these drone operations have on the progress of the war? Let us scrutinize these questions in detail, step by step, as we observe an escalation of the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine in recent days. News outlets globally have been reporting unexpected fires and explosions occurring in Russia. For example, the Smolensk aviation plant and important industrial hubs in Kazan were shaken by devastating blasts. Preliminary accounts indicate that these facilities are responsible for manufacturing or upgrading Russia's Su-25 fighter jets. Ukrainian sources claim that locally manufactured long-range kamikaze drones, such as the CHF variant, were deployed in these attacks. The ensuing damage not only affected industrial production lines, but also Russia's capability to produce new aircraft. These specific attacks carry significant weight because Smolensk and Kazan are unique industrial centers directly overseen by Moscow. These are located between 600 to 700 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. Some sources even contend that Ukrainian drones are capable of reaching distances up to 1,500 kilometers, a fact which illustrates Ukraine's profound offensive capability. Striking these specific facilities can interrupt Russia's production of fighter jets and other essential weapon systems. For example, any disruption to the Su-25 modernization process will surely delay the availability of new or upgraded aircraft for deployment on the front lines. And although the Kremlin asserts that areas deep within Russia are well defended, drones are clearly capable of targeting closed cities and industrial sites with dense defenses, seriously undermining President Putin's security narrative. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel and give us a like. Your engagement really helps us grow. And please let us know where you're watching from by leaving a comment. And don't forget to watch till the end of the video so you can hear our conclusions. So how exactly, and with what speed, did Ukraine actually manage to build such a sophisticated drone force? Possibly faster than at any other time in the history of contemporary military conflict. From drones small enough to fit in the palm of your hand, to others that weigh in excess of 454 kilograms, Ukraine has created and acquired a diverse fleet of remotely piloted aircraft in order to complicate and hinder Russia's advances. The ever-evolving scope and the growing adoption of this Kiev-developed technology demonstrates not only the capacity for drones to even out the playing field in the Russia-Ukraine war, but also their ability to affect how future conflicts might be carried out. Utilizing its enhanced drone fleet, the Ukrainian armed forces are managing to target crucial strategic points such as St. Petersburg, Bryansk, Belgrade, Voronezh, Crimea, and even Moscow itself. Russia's air defense infrastructure, consisting of the S-500, S-400 Triumph, S-300, Panzer T, and a multitude of other systems, has proven itself largely incapable of preventing Ukrainian drone and missile strikes. In short, it appears that Russia's air control capabilities are inadequate to meet the challenge of Ukrainian offensive strikes. Ukraine has, in recent times, demonstrated in no uncertain terms that Russia is incapable of preventing these airstrikes by choosing to attack some of Russia's most essential locations. By employing this military strategy, Kyiv has again proven that it is feasible to accomplish seemingly impossible tasks, like casting a shadow of fear over President Putin's own country. These Ukrainian airstrikes were led by drones, of course. And now, let's dig into what the latest airstrikes, carried out by the Ukrainian drone fleet on Russian targets, have produced. How have drones transformed the course of these clashes, and how have these shifts affected the war? Since the early days of 2025, the Ukrainian armed forces have been conducting unprecedented drone strikes. Ukrainian drones have led to limitations on flights at 3 Russian airports, and have also led to accounts of an attack on a major military aviation center. Recently, significant explosions have taken place at the aircraft manufacturing plant in Smolensk, oil depots near Tula, aviation facilities in Kazan, and even at crucial settlements located further east than Kazan. The Smolensk AIA Zavod facility is known to modernize and carry out maintenance on Su-25 aircraft. The fires that erupted there reportedly burned for hours, and some accounts suggest that as many as 20 explosions occurred on the same day, making it the most significant attack in the region since the beginning of the war. Some sources claim that the Kazan helicopter factory in Tatarstan, or the workshops where airframes are made, may also have been seriously damaged during the same period. The Russian side, it appears, is making an effort to cover up the extent of this damage as much as possible. On the other hand, Russian civilian eyewitnesses captured footage of the drones, describing them as emitting a blue light before exploding. Kazan, the capital of Tatarstan, is situated over 600 miles from the nearest Ukrainian-controlled territory. The fact that Ukraine has managed to reach this distance has created quite a stir. There have been some significant evaluations of these events from the Ukrainian side as well. Andrei Kovalenko, head of the Ukrainian Center for Countering Disinformation, operating under the Ukrainian Security and Defense Council, has stated that there were explosions in Kazan. Military facilities were attacked by unidentified drones, and these facilities sustained damage. Kovalenko noted that Kazan is home to a number of important aviation enterprises that play a key role in the Russian military-industrial complex, including an aviation plant and a helicopter manufacturing factory. Kazan also operates an explosives factory that produces air munitions, such as the Caliber and X-101 missiles. Among the sensitive areas, Kovalenko specifically highlighted the Kazan aviation plant, which is one of the primary hubs of the Russian aviation industry. The facility was subjected to European Union sanctions after Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. The European bloc has repeatedly reported that this plant manufactures and repairs 160 strategic missile carriers, as well as 22M3 or 22M3 long-range bombers. The European Union asserts that the plant also produces components utilized in the construction of IL-76 strategic air carriers. These reports and assessments provide crucial information for understanding why Ukrainian forces were targeting Kazan in particular. In other words, for Ukraine, the actual physical distances are no longer the deciding factor, but rather the strategic importance of any given location. The Ukrainian army is now capable of readily targeting Russian military air bases, fighter jets, helicopters, bombers, and missile manufacturing facilities via airstrikes. From a technical perspective, it is interesting to know how Ukraine has managed to carry out such attacks. Many sources suggest that Ukraine employs swarms of low-cost drones, which are equipped with artificial intelligence. These are small aircraft that utilize GPS and other positioning systems, sometimes even programmed with autonomous flight capabilities. These drones have a range of 600 to 700 kilometers, and sometimes as much as 1,000 kilometers. Their guidance systems are designed to navigate around Russian electronic warfare defenses. Some also claim that Ukraine is currently utilizing new models, like the Chakan 5. Now, let's look closer at the UAVs that facilitate the attacks of these specific targets, starting with the D-80 Discovery and the E-300 Enterprise. These UAVs can be utilized to carry state-of-the-art equipment and weaponry, and as platforms to defeat the enemy. The stated range of the E-300 model is 3,100 kilometers. This is a particularly impressive range figure, and with the E-300, Ukrainians are able to reach all Russian military air bases, vital strategic infrastructure, and oil and gas storage facilities. Dmytro Shim, the principal investor in the Arody drone project, has suggested that the E-300 could be used in such attacks. As many might know, Arody Drone was once a little-known manufacturer of agricultural aircraft that were not particularly sought after, either in Ukraine or abroad. Time forced the company to adapt, and now the company is manufacturing the D-80 Discovery and E-300 Enterprise drones. The most important characteristic of these drones is their large payload capacity, allowing them to carry a variety of cargo and mount sophisticated equipment and weaponry. The payload capacity of the Discovery is 80 kilograms, and for the Enterprise, it is 300 kilograms. These are second-class unmanned aerial vehicles designed for reconnaissance, delivery of supplies to the front lines, and as platforms for the utilization of sophisticated weapons and equipment, as well as for defeating the enemy. The quoted prices for these drones can reach as high as $450,000 United States dollars, a sum that is far more expensive than the cost of 2 D-80 sets with advanced cameras and communication systems. These drones also offer 3 key distinguishing features. 1. They can remain aloft for up to 23 hours. 2. They can carry a variety of heavy radio equipment for reconnaissance. It has been demonstrated how this type of aircraft can carry reconnaissance equipment that is not even available within the Ukrainian armed forces. And 3. The E-300 has far better stability than many other types, which enables a 40-fold zoom on one of its mid-range cameras. For instance, the Ukrainian army often requires the quick delivery of scarce spare parts, which takes a long time to obtain via land. The E-300 Enterprise is, according to experts, a suitable platform that facilitates the installation of all kinds of different equipment, including systems that no one previously thought of mounting on a UAV. Responding to queries about the number of drones produced, Dmytro Shim spoke about the monthly production and emphasized that these drones are fully functioning aircraft that are tested according to established aviation standards. Dmytro Shim chose not to provide exact figures, but it is believed that the Ukrainian army possesses a sufficient number of advanced drones of this type to attack Russian targets on many occasions. On another note, we should also remember that the Ukrainian military has a number of alternative drone types besides the E-300. One of these is the Laika, a Ukrainian-made drone that has been in service since 2021. Laika's speed can reach 120 kilometers, and its flight duration is approximately 2.5 hours. In March, aerial surveillance carried out by the 92nd Separate Mechanized Brigade discovered a battery of Russian 220mm rocket launchers that were deployed and ready to fire close to the village of Nariva in Luhansk. As a consequence, Laika was able to direct the artillery of the 40th Separate Artillery Brigade onto the enemy, and in that particular situation, the Laika drone successfully recorded the destruction of Russian military equipment by a ram to kamikaze UAV. Another type of drone used by the Ukrainians is the Shark, a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone used for surveillance and fire control. The maiden flight of the Shark occurred in 2022. Its maximum speed can reach 150 kilometers, with a flight time of up to 4 hours. The first footage of the Ukrainian UAV named Shark appeared in January of 2023 and showed the UAV operating in the Donetsk region. Another important type is the DJI Mavic 3. This common quadcopter, once designed for civilian use, is a popular model due to its versatility, a flight time of 46 minutes, and a maximum altitude of 6 kilometers. This drone is equipped with premium quality optics that assist the Ukrainian armed forces in observing Russian soldiers from above. For example, in March, the Army of the 28th Separate Mechanized Brigade employed the Mavic to monitor an invasion fortress, and in February, the 93rd Brigade used this same drone to record firing on Russian forces in the Bakhmut direction. In addition to its reconnaissance capabilities, the Mavic 3 is versatile, as it can be equipped with a thermal imager or an explosive disposal system. Between January and June of 2024, the Mavic 3 was mentioned 6 times as a reconnaissance drone. And there is also the Mavic 3T, a reconnaissance helicopter with a thermal imager. Continuing the theme of Mavic's versatility, this drone is equipped with a thermal imager and is also capable of carrying out surveillance at night. And next, we'll look at the UAVs designed for shooting or attack. First among these are kamikaze drones. These drones have built-in weapon systems that allow them to remain airborne for prolonged periods while hovering over a selected target, and then quickly attacking on the operator's command. These drones are also capable of performing specific combat missions dictated by complex algorithms. One example of this type of drone is the Switchblade 300. The Switchblade 300 is an American-made kamikaze drone with a maximum speed of 160 kilometers per hour, capable of flying for 50 minutes at a distance of 600 meters. The Ukrainian Armed Forces first used it in May 2022 during the Russian-Ukrainian War. For example, in early June of this year, the Security Service of Ukraine released a video showcasing how their military counterintelligence officers destroyed a Russian Buk M1 anti-aircraft missile system and 3 T-72 tanks. A similar video appeared in January of last year, showcasing 3 kamikaze drones eliminating Russian forces stationed in trenches. In February, operators of the 93rd Brigade used the drone to record firing on Russian forces in Bakhmut. In the same month, operators of the 92nd Brigade employed these drones to destroy a Russian ammunition depot. The Switchblade 300 drone was repeatedly mentioned in these military operations. The United States has announced that they are supplying Ukraine with the latest Switchblade 300 Block 20 kamikaze drones. Analyzing the data indicates that the Switchblade was mentioned more often than what was shown in publicly available media accounts between January to March of 2024. But recently, there has been little to no mention of this particular drone type. This might be because these drones are no longer in supply, or due to their perceived lack of effectiveness in combat missions, or perhaps because footage of these UAVs is no longer being released for security purposes. And, alongside the Switchblade 300, the Pegas should also be mentioned. This type of drone is Ukrainian-made, with a flight range of approximately 400 meters at an airspeed of between 50 to 75 kilometers. These drones drop weapons weighing up to 20 kilograms. They are, in essence, simple quadcopters that are modified by experts with explosives, turning them into kamikaze drones. These FPV drones were created in partnership with the Ukrainian UAV Army. In January of 2024, Pegas operators used this type of drone to destroy a Russian tank and an armored personnel carrier. Then, in April, operators of the Ochi-Vid Plat unit of the 59th Separate Motorized Infantry Brigade destroyed a Russian bunker. The number of reported instances of this drone's effective use continues to grow each month. Pegas was mentioned only twice in January, but by April, the number had risen to 37, and in June, it was mentioned 33 times. This potent drone has become exceedingly popular. A volunteer headquarters team, UCRA, organized a fundraiser, possibly for Pegas drones, and were able to collect around 77,000 United States dollars for 100 Pegas drones. In May, Esprula mentioned that a total of 480,000 United States dollars had been raised. It remains unknown how many drones were purchased following these donations, as the Ukrainian military is keeping this information private. And lastly, it's worth noting an incredible drone type known as the FPV Goa. They are named in honor of the followers of the Ukrainian blogger Seri Steno, who raised funds to acquire these drones. It is remarkable that Goa is, in reality, an alternative name for the Pegas drone. According to our analysis, the most frequent public mentions of this kamikaze drone occurred in January and April of 2024, while there was no information in the media concerning operations of this type of drone in May and June. The most prominent public references to this drone were in February, when a video emerged showing a Goa or Bova drone destroying a Russian soldier while attempting to hack the drone, and in the same month, a Goa drone attacked a Russian all-terrain vehicle, eliminating several Russian soldiers. This was the work of the K2 Battalion of the 54th Separate Mechanized Brigade. In addition to the Goa, a video from February unveiled the Ukrainian Fox kamikaze drone. In this footage, it was seen shooting down a Russian Grenadier air defense system in Shebekino, within the Belgorod region of Russia. There is no information that suggests this Fox drone will be available on the market for a future purchase, and there is also little available data on the Falcon Avenger drone. However, this drone is also a vital element of the Ukrainian arsenal. This weapon, another aerial marvel produced in Ukraine, is an FPV drone. One of the main features of the Falcon is its ability to broadcast video in real time via a camera located at the front of the drone. The media does not disclose which country manufactures this drone or its specifications. However, in June of 2024, a video emerged depicting the destruction of a Russian picket line by this very drone. There is also data that indicates that in March, the fighters of the STNA unit successfully destroyed the Russian Murom-Dazim visual surveillance system, which at that time was positioned on the territory of the entire Kakhovka hydroelectric power station. Murom monitored the movement of Ukrainian forces 24 hours a day, but Falcon allegedly succeeded in destroying this system. It is noteworthy that, during the analytical time frame of January, the Falcon Avenger UAV appeared in the public sphere just once, while in June it was mentioned 4 times. There is no information about a fundraising campaign for the Falcon drone. Aside from this particular drone type, Ukraine also operates another aircraft named the Ram-2. This drone has a combat radius of up to 30 kilometers and a flight range of as much as 60 kilometers. A flight of this type of drone can last up to 1 hour. Between January and June of 2024, there was only one publicly available announcement concerning this drone type, and no information pertaining to any fundraising activities for the Ram-2 drone was available. In summary, the Ukrainian armed forces have developed a massive drone army. Within this army, there are drones for practically every type of mission. This strength held by Ukraine is bringing the war to a truly critical phase. In the future, the Ukrainians could potentially use this drone army to strike important cities, such as Moscow and St. Petersburg, at any time, just as they have attacked targets in Crimea on an almost daily basis. Should Kiev continue to effectively utilize its drone army with the same efficiency, Moscow may very well end up suffering a considerable defeat in this conflict. What truly matters now is who can control the airspace and destroy vital strategic targets with drones and missiles. The Ukrainians are specialists in this field, and they are making great advancements in this skill on a daily basis. Very recently, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that his country is extremely serious about producing 1 million drones. If President Zelensky's ambitious production goals are achieved, and the West supports the drone and missile inventory of the Ukrainian army with significant military support packages, then it will indeed be a miracle if Russia can manage to stand against this country. Thank you for choosing our channel.